Hello and welcome to Camping Corner. Today we're going to talk about the Suncoast Stakes and the Sam F. Davis Stakes. They are both at Tampa Bay Downs tomorrow. And again, I'm sorry I'm recording this late. It's better late than never, right? I keep saying that. But in any case, there's some value in these two races, so let's talk about the Suncoast first, and then I'll head on over to the Sam F. Davis Stakes. In the Suncoast, we start off with the morning line favorite La Cara. She was 5th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and she lost by 16 lengths. Although obviously this is a step down in class, that was a grade 1. Maybe it is a step down in class, maybe she is a logical choice. But she comes off a layoff and she's only 2-1, and maybe she needs one race to get going and get back into the flow of racing. I think she could be beaten, so let's try to find value in this race. Before I go on to my top choice, I want to talk about Her Laugh, who is 5-2 on the morning line, and she won the Untappable Stakes at Fairgrounds by 2.5 lengths over Golden Gamble. My concern is that Golden Gamble did not return to run well in the Silver Bullet Day Stakes at Fairgrounds, so I wonder how strong the Untappable Stakes was. I also think she could be beaten. I mean, if I had to pick one filly out of La Cara and Her Laugh, it would probably be La Cara. So here is my upset pick in this race, number 8, Chloe. Now, it might seem like a strange pick. She broke her maiden on synthetic in a 5.5 furlong race at Gulfstream, but I like the way she did it. I think she did it in a way that is visually impressive. Let's take a look at the race. We catch them on a turn, Chloe's on the outside, and Amande, who is trained by Todd Pletcher, is on the inside. And that's important to note because Pletcher always has good 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and Chloe's just going to put her away under a mild ride. I mean, the jockey is just waving the stick at Chloe, but she's mostly doing it on her own. And look at how she pulls clear of the field easily. And number 5 is My Anticipation. My Anticipation is another expensive filly trained by Christophe Clement, I think. And Chloe was well ahead of her. And I thought it was visually impressive the way that Chloe won this race. I know it was on synthetic. It's even harder to pull clear on synthetic than it is on dirt. And can she handle dirt? I would think so. Here's Chloe's pedigree. Tis the Law should be great for dirt. And on top of that, or on the bottom of that I should say, Habibti, the second dam, was a dirt router. And let's take a look at her record really quick. Back in 2002, Habibti was 3rd in the Kentucky Oaks, she was 2nd in the Santa Anita Oaks, and the Las Virginia Stakes. And back in 2001, in her 2-year-old season, she won the Hollywood Starlet and the Del Mar Debutante. So she was a nice dirt router in her 2-year-old and 3-year-old filly season. And the point is of looking at this is just to cement the fact that there's dirt blood in this filly's pedigree, and I'm going to pick her on top. She's 8-1 on the morning line, and I don't think she'll be favored. She might go a little lower than 8-1, maybe like 5-1, but I think that's fine if she's 5-1 or, I don't know, 6-1. I wouldn't want her as the favorite, but if she's not the favorite, if she's a value price, then she's going to be my top pick. Let's talk about another filly. Chloe would be fine as a win bet, but if you're looking to make an exacta, and if you're looking for value in the second slot, Italian Soiree, I probably pronounced that wrong, would be an interesting choice for the second slot. She has stakes experience. She was 5th in the Jessamine Stakes, and she was 4th in the Natalma Stakes last September at Woodbine, and she was also on dirt. She was at Saratoga last August, and she was 2nd in the Adirondack, although she lost by 9 lengths to the Queen's MG. The point is she has dirt experience and she has stakes experience, and that's important. And this is an ungraded stakes race, so I guess it's technically a step down in class. She would be interesting for an underneath role. And the last filly I want to talk about before rounding out the Suncoast Stakes is Della Rain, who won a local turf race on December 13 by 8 1/4 of a length. And can she do that on dirt? She has a dirt race on record, but that was back in August. And she was inexperienced back then, so I'm not going to hold it against her that she lost. I don't know if she can win by 8 lengths in this spot, but I think she could get a piece if she fires. And you might want to think about her if you're going to do a trifecta or even an exacta. And I just wanted to point her out. Chloe's my top pick in the Suncoast Stakes. For second, maybe either La Cara or Italian Soiree. And I'll use Della Rain to round out my top 4 in this race. And let's move on. Let's move on to the Sam F. Davis Stakes. We start off with the morning line favorite in the Sam F. Davis Stakes, Owen Almighty, who was 2-1 on the morning line. I don't know if he'll be the favorite at post time though. I think it'll be close between him and John Hancock. In any case, let's take a look at the effort of Owen Almighty in the Pasco Stakes. I like the fact that Owen Almighty is in a battle here with Naughty Rascal to his outside, and Naughty Rascal is actually a little ahead at this point. Look how confident Irad Ortiz is on Owen Almighty. He's barely moving on Owen Almighty, while the jockey on Naughty Rascal is in an all-out drive. And it just shows the confidence. Ortiz knew he had this race won the whole time, even though it looks close. It wasn't really close at all. I mean, Irad was just waiting to ask him. And Owen Almighty responds enough to win. When you look at what the two jockeys were doing really closely, it wasn't even a contest. I mean, he got disqualified, so we don't see him on the board. But Owen Almighty won that easier than the margin says. And Irad returns to ride him again. I don't think a mile 1/16 will be a problem. His Damn Tempers Rising was a router, and her only win came in a rout when she broke her maiden in a mile 1/16 race. And she also placed in the Kentucky Oaks. I believe she was third. So I don't think that a mile 1/16 will be a problem with Owen Almighty. I know that Speightstown isn't the best route sire, but I think it's balanced out by the damn side. And Owen Almighty was also in a 1 mile race last September when he was in the Iroquois Stakes, and he was closing well at the end. He was second to Jonathan's Way, so I like the fact that he has route experience, he has stakes experience, he was in a grade 3 at Churchill Downs, and also he's the outside speed, but he can also stalk. He's going to be my top choice in this race. I know he's the favorite, but you're getting a lot. You're getting a horse with stakes experience, route experience, you're getting Irad. So it's not just about trying to beat the favorite when you play a horse race. And if you're getting a lot as the favorite, or if you're getting enough, then it's not so bad to take it. Let's talk about John Hancock, who is 3-1 on the morning line. John Hancock broke his maiden on this course on January 8th. He won by 3 lengths, although it was only a sprint race. But it was done impressively, and if I wasn't thinking about value, I would say he's one of the top contenders in this race. But let's take a look at that maiden race, and I'll discuss why I think he's a bad choice. We catch him on a turn as usual. John Hancock is in the lead. Madhouse is in second. Who is Madhouse? It kind of bothers me that Madhouse is so close to him, because I don't know who Madhouse is. I don't think he's done anything. And John Hancock is going to clear him easily. I think John Hancock, well, maybe not so easily. I mean, Madhouse is sticking fairly close to him as they go towards the wire. But John Hancock did win easily by 3 lengths. And maybe I'm making too big a deal out of the fact that Madhouse was only 3 lengths behind him. What are you getting when you take John Hancock in this race? Does he have a good speed figure? I guess on Breeze he does. But on wire he's kind of short. If you look at his wire figure, I think it was an 81, was it? And again, he has no route experience. This is a mile 1/16 race. He has no stakes experience. And it could be tough. It could be tough going from a maiden race to a stakes race. If you're going from a sprint maiden race to a route stakes race on a derby trail, that could be tough. And what are you getting with all those questions in mind? You're getting a short-priced horse because Brad Cox trains him, and Flavien Prat is on board. And I've already heard several people say, oh, Flavien Prat is on board. That's interesting. And I just think that he's going to be a shorter price with all those factors combined. And you're not getting a lot in return. I want a horse who is short priced to check off all the check marks. And this one doesn't. And so that kind of bothers me. Let's talk about some other horses. Who can I beat John Hancock with for the second slot in the Exacta? Camp Hale, I know he's a maiden. But look, he ran second to Guns Loaded back on November 16 at Churchill Downs. And Guns Loaded went on to win the Mucho Macho Man Stakes. And I know Guns Loaded didn't run well in the Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream, but I can forgive that race. I think the Holy Bull was a tough race. And then on January 11 at Gulfstream, Camp Hale finished second again to Grand. Is that his name, Grand or Grande? I think that was a Pletcher horse. And I think it's fine that Camp Hale lost to him. The pace was fast, 23:46, 111. And you can see in the first call and the second call, or 1C, 2C, it says plus 11, plus 10. That just means the pace was fast. And Camp Hale had to endure that, and he was still fighting in the stretch run. He was only 2.5 lengths behind at the end. So I think Camp Hale is a contender for the second slot. And I also think that Treaty of Rome is a contender for the second slot as well. Just like Camp Hale, Treaty of Rome was second to Guns Loaded, but he was second to Guns Loaded in the Mucho Macho Man Stakes. He has 2 1-mile races on his resume, so that's good. I don't think that a mile 1/16th will be a problem at all, even though it's his first 2-turn race. And what else can I say about him? This is a full brother to Donna Veloce. I don't know if people remember Donna Veloce. She was in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies one year. I don't think she won. She was second or third, and I would expect this horse to want to be in at least 1 mile to a mile and 1/16th races. And I think that he's going to be in the right spot. I think there's a lot of speed in this race, and Treaty of Rome will be right behind the speed, maybe 2 or 3 lengths behind. I know that Chad Brown trains him, but I don't think he'll receive as much attention as you would think he would receive because Chad Brown trains him. I think all the attention will be on John Hancock or Owen Almighty. But in any case, he's one of my choices for the second slot. Owen Almighty is my choice in the Sam F. Davis Stakes. He does need to deal with other speed, Camp Hale, John Hancock, Dr. Ruben M. But I think he could handle it. He doesn't need to be on the lead. He could stalk. And I think that Irad Ortiz will give him a good ride, whatever is appropriate, whether he goes to the lead, whether he sits a length or 2 off the leader, whether he tries to stalk the pace. I think he could do all 3. And I know the blinkers go on, but we'll see what happens. I think he'll get a good trip. Owen Almighty's my top choice. We'll say that either Camp Hale or Treaty of Rome will be my second choice or third choice. And I'll put John Hancock in fourth, but I don't think I'm going to use him. Those are my top 4 choices for the Sam F. Davis Stakes. And thanks for listening to my analysis and picks for the Suncoast Stakes and the Sam F. Davis Stakes. Hopefully I'll be back soon with another Derby Trail video, and I'll try to record it sooner.